So apparently, people are still being affected by how bad the George Floyd and Black Lives Matter riots were. A lot of people's businesses were absolutely destroyed. I mean, the whole city pretty much got destroyed, as most of you know. But people are still suffering. So many people have lost everything, and now they're suing the state of Minneapolis, the city of Minneapolis, I mean. So let's go ahead and get into this. This is going to be very interesting and a little bit heartbreaking.
George Floyd riots happened 5 years ago, but the owner of a once successful business, now in foreclosure, talks about the horrors he's witnessed in George Floyd Square ever since and why he's suing the city of Minneapolis now. Next. Edwin Reed is a businessman in Minneapolis, the owner of Sincere Auto Detailing, located basically right there, 38th in Chicago. I know you're 37th in Chicago, also known as George Floyd Square now. But Edwin, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for telling your story.
Thank you for having me, Liz. I appreciate it.
You're now part of another lawsuit against the city of Minneapolis, one of 8 business owners suing the city for allowing activists and gangs to take over George Floyd Square. In terms of numbers, how much has your business income dropped these past years?
My peak point, we were averaging $394,000 a year. And over the course of time, George Floyd died May 25th, 2020. My company's inventory and our revenue has dropped dramatically. I mean, we claimed $9,700 this year. Out and thinking that it would turn around, it didn't. So, I didn't see my money, my money was kind of going out and not coming back in. It's roughly $10,000 a month to, run my company. And I've had to get rid of employees, couldn't afford them. A lot of my employees are 1099. They were making $1,000 a week out of 13 guys that I had on staff. We were seeing roughly 25 cars a week. That has not happened. We're only getting maybe even 3 to 4 cars a month. So
Ouch, that is devastating. As a business owner, I can say that that has to hurt. Oh my goodness. And $10,000 a month in expenses is crazy. That's 120 grand a year to make essentially $400,000. Man, one little difference can ruin everything, and you're looking at it right now. That is horrible.
it's been pretty horrible.
An understatement. The numbers are truly shocking, and sadly, I think people like you deserve so much more attention, and your voices are so important. But you go from this once award-winning auto detailer. You proudly opened your business in 2012, enjoyed years of success. I know you received a foreclosure notice, which we'll talk more about. But in a way, it almost happened overnight, didn't it? Tell us more about the years that have passed, what life has been like for you there.
Liz, I'm happy that you asked that question. It's been horrible for me. I'm a very hardworking individual. I grew up in this area. I grew up in Minnesota. I've been here since 1984. And I'm a graduate at Washburn High School, class of 98. And I've saved all my money up to start this business, and I have lost everything. My house is in foreclosure. I got this house built from the ground in 2020 during a pandemic. We were doing very well during the pandemic uh, because our company was an essential business at that.
Hey man, when you start doing really good and your business is popping, that is not the time to go building houses, buying cars, doing anything like that. Because as you see, something that can be completely out of your control can ruin everything. You gotta just stay down till you come up, man. Dang, that is messed up.
That particular time. And so we've seen a high volume of sales during that time because we're in sanitation. And so, it hasn't been the same, since George Floyd died. Honestly, when George Floyd died, my company died right along with George Floyd, Liz. And, the city, um, they blocked us in for 4 years in that area. They're claiming, oh, it was there. The barricades were there for one. We are barricaded on every side of every corner of the 4 corners that stretch down East 38th Street, where we couldn't receive commerce. They allowed gangs and different people who came up here to rob our community and the police, they never came to our aid. There are business owners being extorted. I was extorted. Some of the business owners have been shot because they were failed to make payment to these people who were claiming to protect our area from getting burned down. The city knew about all of this. They kept their eyes shut. Now the city is buying up all the areas where businesses wasn't able to succeed after the unrest. They're buying up everything and they're reconstructing it and selling it to high investors to regentrify the area.
I think you're right. It's clear that something more is going on here, and your business sits right there. It seems it suffered more from.
It's like everything that could go wrong went wrong. I didn't realize that they had them blocked in, so cars can't even access it. That is crazy. Sheesh, and it's like you can't go spend more money to make it a mobile detailing service because you're already operating in the red because his business expenses were already $10,000 a month. So if he goes out and buys Sprinter vans to maybe make the business mobile, it's just going to put him in more debt for something that might not work. That is crazy. And then the extortion thing, oh man. Minneapolis, what a terrible job you guys have done.
The consequences of rampant crime than anything else. I know you've witnessed many disturbing crimes right outside your door, horrifying, many of them captured right on your security cameras. Tell us more about that.
Yes, Liz, that is a good point. I seen 6 people get killed. 2 died in my arms. One morning at 8:30 a.m., I was checking in my client's car, Fernando. He's been a customer of mine for over 6 years. We heard gunshots in the alley, and I heard the shots and I was like, lay down because I didn't know where the gunfire was coming from. We saw a guy run right past us, shot in the arm, the bullet lodged in his chest. He died on the other side of 40th and Elliott, which is a block down the street in the alley. They had the streets closed off in the front of our business. So I was receiving business in the back alley where all the traffic was coming through and all the crime was happening. My cameras caught a lot of the crime. Once I reported this to 911, they never answered the phone calls because they knew that when they seen the signal come from my phone to their base, they knew what area this was called a no-go zone for them. An officer I was referred to, gang task force officer, after this crime took place and a gentleman got shot in front of us. Um, he basically said that they can't come to the area because it's a no-go zone. We're not allowed to investigate. He offered me to bring in bullet casings to help them with the crimes that were happening over there. And like, seemed like the Minneapolis police officers were scared to death to come to that area because it was a lawless area. It ruined my business because of that. And a lot of my clients, I have 233,000 clients over a course of 15 years, and my clients were scared to death to do business with me over there. They were calling me on the phone list saying, Ed, we love you, we love your service. We just can't take that risk coming over there to bring our vehicles over there to get detailed. Our insurance companies won't cover our vehicles in that area. A lot of the businesses lost insurance because they were scared that they were going to burn down the buildings. And so it was a heap of mess to just compete with. And no one heard our cries. They totally turned their backs.
This takes me back. This whole Black Lives Matter thing gets my blood boiling. You guys destroyed an entire city. How dumb can people get and still breathe? I just, for the life of me, cannot stand. I can't believe how many people were manipulated into this. Obviously, there is some nefarious stuff going on and maybe some paid protesters or some undercover stuff going on. I'm not sure, but I know that something was going on that seemed a little bit fishy. But this is crazy, man. Ah,
Why have you stayed there in George Floyd Square
good
after
question.
all of these years, Edwin?
Sure, I stayed because I have a lot invested in that area. I have a lot invested in that building, and it's a prime area in the middle where I'd like to receive business because of what kind of work that we do. There's a lot of talented businesses over there. There's restaurants, there's auto body shops where you can get your car fixed. My car wash has been over there. So you can pretty much go on that block and pretty much receive anything that you need. And we are very talented, people with the talent. And you know, our companies were overshadowed by George Floyd's death. I mean, a lot of people feel some kind of way about coming in that area because they've made it a black white thing. My company has turned into a hostile environment. I'm getting phone calls where people are asking me, does all lives matter, or does Black lives matter? And that's not what it's about with my business. We're a community company, and we love everyone. We're not racist of anyone. We're not judgmental of anyone, Liz, and we take in any customer here. And so that's what I'm facing.
Well, I think it's pretty clear now, knowing what we know, that the leaders manipulated this.
Real quick, this guy could make a whole bunch of money teaching people how to start a car wash business. Since he was successful with it and was making 400 grand a year, he could definitely do a step-by-step program teaching people how to make a step-by-step car wash business that will succeed. If he was under any other circumstances, if this didn't happen, he could have probably built his way up to $1 million a year by now. I'm almost certain of it if he was doing that good. Um, but I mean, he could make a lot of money teaching people how to do this, and that could recover some of the money that he lost and maybe get him in a better situation to leave that area, leave the city, maybe leave Minnesota in general. But man, this is what a well spoken professional gentleman here. I could see him becoming successful again, but he sure does have a big hole to dig himself out of, man. It's not even his fault. That's what makes it so much worse. Completely out of his control. And I don't know, man. Maybe mobile detail services and car washes are the way to go, just so you don't have to run into this sort of thing, you know, or maybe have a couple of Sprinter vans on deck.
This whole thing from the beginning, and wanted to push this on people that this was racist in some way. You're a businessman. How has this affected you, though, personally, Edwin?
Oh, Liz, I tell you, every day I wake up, for one, I'm at home and I should be at work. I haven't worked in 2 months, maybe even 3 months. I mean, I only work when we have, people who call and want the service, and that has died down. I was receiving 50 phone calls a day. Now I barely even get any phone calls for my business, and it hurts. I mean, I'm 45 years old. I've worked hard 15 long years to get my business to be where it is today. And we're one of the top detail services in this country. I feel Floyd Mayweather has been here over the Super Bowl to shop with us. We hosted the Super Bowl when they came here in 2019. Our company was called upon, and we do a lot of services across this state.
Edwin was a big dog out there, man.
Regarding your lawsuit, the city of Minneapolis has filed a motion to dismiss the case. A city spokesperson forwarded statements from the Minneapolis Police Department stating, quote, as with all areas of the city, MPD provides 24/7 emergency response to the 38th and Chicago area. And that has happened since August of 2023. Chief O'Hara has also assigned 2 officers to a dedicated beat in the area. But it almost sounds like it's a little too late with all of this. You have half of the police officers that you once did in Minneapolis. But have you ever seen Mayor Jacob Fry out there? Do you believe his administration, the city, even cares, given everything they've allowed to happen around your business?
Well, there's a major narrative to that. The city, they've been lying for a long time. And I'm going to be honest with you, we when George Floyd died in 2020, they took the cops away from that area. They had a law enforcement officer tell me that personally, and he is also involved in our case. I mean, we're businesses that have been there for over 15 years. Our lives are embedded there. We've lost everything. And when I tell you we've lost everything, ma'am, I mean my bank accounts are depleted. I had more than $1 million in my account that is gone. My savings, my life retirement is gone because I'm thinking that that it was going to bounce back. We were going to get past this. They've had us blocked off for 4 years, and we're still.
Oh my goodness. 4 years. They still haven't opened that street up. Why does he? George Floyd doesn't need a whole street blocked off. This is ridiculous. Tim Walz, this is your fault. Tim Walz, this is your fault. Seriously, you've got to be kidding me. He might be one of the worst governors in the United States. Tim Walz, Jared Polis, Michelle Wu, Gavin Newsom. Oh, well, I think Miss Wu of Boston is mayor, but man, we have some bad people in leadership in this country. Unbelievable. Yeesh. Tim Walz is right there with Jared Polis and Gavin Newsom as the worst governors in the United States of America.
Blocked off. There's shrines in the streets. There's barricades still out there. I mean, the place looks like a war zone. None of my customers want to drive down that street and see any of it. The city doesn't care. They're more concerned about how can we fix this area to get back our $49 million worth of lawsuits that we've paid out already over George Floyd's death. Tim Walz has never came to visit us. Mayor Jacob Fry has never came to visit us. Andrea Jenkins, she's been saying for a long time, hey, we're going to get those businesses $25 million to help reestablish the area over there and get them back thriving again. No one's done anything.
The lawsuit that you're involved with is seeking a court order to compel the city to restore police protection along with attorney's fees, payment for damages. What else would you like to see happen in this case, Edwin?
Well, I'd like to see them stop dragging their feet, Liz, for one, because our businesses have been waiting on relief for over 5 years. They're dragging their feet. They know the evidence that we have against them is very, clear to see. And they think that we don't understand this narrative and what we're seeing. It's total neglect. It's criminal, what they're doing here to us. Okay. And then, they don't care that we are taxpayer citizens in the community and that we've started our American dream fair and square here. Like my American dream has been ruined. I have an enlarged heart from this. I've been so stressed out. I haven't been able to make ends meet. I have 4 kids that I can't even provide for. Phones are getting cut off, internet services and things are getting cut off. It's so embarrassing, the things that I'm dealing with here, and I live a different kind of lifestyle, Liz. You know what I mean? I've worked hard to have the lifestyle that I have. Like I started this business with my hands, okay? And those people downtown, they're malicious. They don't care. They're playing with people's lives. They're behind a desk. You know what I mean? They don't know what we've endured. But yet you guys can get on television and say that you had squads coming over there in 2020 in August 27th of 2023. Well, what happened in 2020, 2021, and 2022? That's when all the damage was being done. People were getting killed left and right, Liz.
It would be so different if the truth was told just from the very beginning. It's so obvious. Edwin Reed, but thank you so much for joining me.
Edwin, my heart goes out to you, brother. This is terrible to see. And I can feel that pain in his voice. I feel this in my heart, man. Tim Walls, y'all better pay this man and all the other 8 people that are suing y'all. I hope to God, I pray to God that they win this lawsuit and that Edwin can get some relief from this and all the other people that have lost their businesses and their livelihoods due to neglect from the Minneapolis mayor. Tim Walz was the governor, and everything that has stopped them from being able to run their businesses. How are you going to block off an entire street just for George Floyd? He's already got a statue. What the hell else does the man need? He's dead. And he didn't do anything positive in the world at all. This is absolutely crazy. This is crazy. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, this is ridiculous. And they use George Floyd's name for a completely different agenda, and everybody fell for it. The leaders of Black Lives Matter bought mansions and all this stuff. And meanwhile, we've got Edwin here, lost everything. Oh, this literally makes me sick to my stomach. I could literally vomit. This is terrible. And man, something needs to be done. Man, Tim Walz does not deserve to be the governor of Minnesota. Minneapolis needs a new mayor, and they might need a whole new police department. There's so many things that need to be done. But Edwin, if you do win this case and you can get some money out of this to restore your business, get the heck out of there. You know what I mean? Get that money if you win this and move to another state like Texas or one of these better places where your business can thrive that has a good governor. Because this is ridiculous. Ugh, so frustrating. This is one of the most frustrating things I've seen in a long time. You guys drop a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out. You're watching the Unexplained Outlook. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.